What's up guys, Kaiju here again with another video, and in this video I'll be talking about the IKEA pad. The I still don't know how to pronounce this, the La, LANESPELARE, LANESPELARE, whatever. The IKEA pad, okay? The IKEA pad. So, you know, I'm sure if you're in the community, you've at least heard of this once or twice, and in the past few weeks or the past month, it's been kind of, starting to be talked about. Although I'm surprised it's not talked about by that much. And there's only been like a couple of reviews or a few reviews about it. So here's my take on it. Um, yeah, shout out I guess to Good Enough Tech Reviews for this for making this pad known, because yeah, I'm really surprised by the quality of this pad. And I apologize for the quality of this video and recording. I am sleep deprived again. So yeah, like my brain is all over the place, so bear with me. So yeah, so the IKEA pad retails from around seven to $8, like depending on where you are. And then yeah, that's in IKEA. If you can go to the IKEA store, and then it'll just depend on how much the shipping is depending on where you are. So for me, here in the Philippines, it's $8, so 400 pesos, and then there's 170 pesos delivery. So that's around, all in all, around 11 to $12. So yeah, actually it's not bad. It's actually pretty cheap compared to most mouse pads. And the thing is, I already thought the Gigantus V2 is one of the best cheap pads, but yeah, this thing is really good as well. Actually, one of the only things that's um, it's just annoying that it's smaller. I think this is like 44 by 36 centimeters rather than your standard for 45 by 40. So it is kind of smaller. Wait, let me get my Gigantus. Yeah, here it is with the Gigantus. See, it's like off by like a centimeter here, and then yeah, if I put it down like in the, you know, like this, there's quite a bit of difference there. Okay, so I realized I didn't I didn't put it all in the frame. So yeah, here there's like it's a centimeter shorter around that, and then vertically there, that's the difference. And yeah, I wish it was bigger. Like, I don't know why people didn't make, I don't know why IKEA and ROG didn't make it bigger, because I think 450 by 400 is like the standard of kind of gaming mouse pads. But again, it's not it's not terrible. I can still game with it properly, especially if you play TAC FPS, where it's just majority of side to side. I think there's still enough space, even if you use like what do you call this, a low sensitivity or medium sensitivity. But if you play like games with vertical movement, yeah, I can see why this would be annoying. Like, I already find it annoying, and yeah, I wish it was bigger. So anyways, um, it's non-stitched, but then this, I guess, laser cut or whatever, however they cut it, it's pretty good. Like, I can see it feels really flushed to the edges, and it's not like, it doesn't cut your skin, it doesn't cut your forearm as compared to something like uh the Gigantus, where my forearm kind of feels it. But this one, it's really nice and soft. Like, the edges feel rounded, it as if it's actually stitched, but it's not. um I can't talk about durability of the stitching because I've only had this for like a week or so. So let's see about that. And it came shipped in the box and it got creased, so I am having this replaced. So yeah, rubber backing, I don't know what this is, the first time I saw this rubber backing. It's not your OEM rubber backing, so it's actually really good. Like, this is really sticky, it really grips, my table. Uh, yeah. So what else? So it's non-stitch, but it's really good. It doesn't cut your skin. It's smaller than usual, and it's kind of annoying because even if I have space going left or right, or enough space going vertically, I like having a lot of mouse pad on my forearm because I live in a tropical country. It gets pretty humid here, and whenever my forearm gets sweaty, it kind of gets stuck on the table. So an additional surface for the pad helps on that. Yeah, so I just wish it could have been a little bit bigger, and I wish like they had a desk mat version too, because I'm really used to desk mats now, and the desk mat version of this one I think is uncoated. Is coated. Sorry, the one with the buildings design. According to like good enough tech reviews, there is some stores do sell like just the um, plain black desk mat, but it's only like in select stores. Like majority of stores would have the one with the design, and that's coded apparently. So that's kind of a shame. So, anyways, so in terms of performance of the pad, this is a control pad, no doubt about that. Um, oh yeah, another thing about the physicalities is like, yeah, it does lay completely flat, but then whenever I swipe around, I can feel some bumps around it. Like nothing that I feel that much using a mouse or whenever I'm in game. I don't really notice it that much, but yeah, um, there are some bumps like that. So it doesn't feel completely like straight out or like an even surface. So there are some bumps, but again, this is like what, an $8 pad. So it's really like negligible for that price. And again, I don't really feel it in game, and even if I'm doing like this, it doesn't really bother me. So I think it's negligible, especially considering the price. So with the physicalities, and then the surface is really nice and smooth, and it feels really premium. I didn't feel any inconsistencies in the surface other than the bumps. Like after like a week or so of testing this, I didn't feel any slowing down spots. Um, Humidity wise, I didn't notice whether it was affected by humidity. The weather here in the Philippines has been bipolar lately, but yeah, I haven't noticed any it being affected by humidity. If it is, which it may probably be, because it's a control pad, and it's a cloth pad, so it's probably affected by humidity. I don't know, but I personally didn't experience any humidity issues. Okay, now with the physicalities out of the way, let's talk about performance. So yeah, no doubt about it, this is a control pad. Apparently, this is like very, 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 very identical, virtually the same with the Vaxee PB. So, uh, I never had a Vaxee PA or a Vaxee PB, so I'm just basing on what people say. So it's basically like a budget alternative. And no, it's not actually a budget alternative. It's like a tester for the PB. Like if you want to buy the PB, which is like around $54, excluding shipping, this is like a good tester for it. Like this is pretty much it, just on a free sample version or like a $10 sample version. Like it just doesn't have the premium what do you call this? The premium features, but it's pretty much the same surface and function apparently, which is nice. So yeah, I think for most people, this is good enough, right? Okay, so for the function, it's a control pad. It's really smooth. The surface is really smooth. There's noticeable dynamic friction, and the static friction feel doesn't feel that high. Like it's easy to like micro adjust and everything. You kind of can feel the dynamic friction more than you feel the static friction. Like swiping around, I can feel it more, that there's like some kind of like control to it as compared to when I'm making micro adjustments. Yeah, so it has I'd say low you know, low static friction, low initial friction for a control pad. It's no by no means a muddy pad. It's not. It's a control pad, but it's not a mud pad. It's kind of like if like middle pad. You kind of go like if middle is 50, this is around 40, 35, something like that. Like zero is like 0 to 100. Like zero is like a complete mud pad, like the equate, and 100 is like super fast. So in the middle 50, this is around into 40-ish area, 40 or 35-ish area. So yeah, it's a good control pad because you get the benefits of control, but you don't have the disadvantages of a mud pad. I really find like micro adjusting very nice, very smooth, very easy on this pad. Also, like I don't overshoot because of the dynamic friction, and the stopping power is already pretty good. And going from point A to point B and then micro correcting to micro correcting, or switching again to point C, it's pretty easy. um, yeah. So one of my direct comparisons for this pad is the Gigantus V2. Initially, I actually had a hard time differentiating which one is faster, which one is slower, which one has more control, or what the actual overall difference is in terms of function. Like, because the main difference that you're gonna notice would be the kind of physicalities of it. Like, the Gigantus V2 is bigger. The It's, I think, also thinner. Yeah, the Gigantus V2 is thinner by like a millimeter or something. It's firmer, and the surface is rougher. But again, I had a hard time differentiating them at first. I really had to test them like in aim trainers and in Valorant. Yeah, and then I think I've concluded that this thing, the IKEA pad, is slower, but by a bit. Like, just really by a bit. You can just kind of feel a bit more dynamic friction. Uh, like static friction and initial friction, they kind of feel the same. There's really just this is just a step slower, like 5 to 10% slower, I guess, and 5 to 10% more control. Uh, and I think the biggest or the most apparent uh, was this thing you'll notice is the surface. Like the Gigantus is just very rough, and this is very smooth. But again, like in terms of like function, it's going to be difficult to tell them apart. But yeah, after testing, the Gigantus V2 is a bit faster, a bit less dynamic friction. And this IKEA pad has more dynamic friction and just friction overall. Um, and yeah, the main thing that I noticed, like, why I had a hard time differentiating them is that I actually thought like I made a mistake after a while. I thought this was now faster than this. But the thing is, apparently, um, this is squishier, the IKEA pad, and so it's more affected by the weight of the mouse. Like it's really affected by the weight of the mouse. Like this is a 79-gram mouse that Rogue carries, and then I tested it with my weight reduced, around 60-gram uh, Sim 2, and yeah, it was faster than when I was using my Vaxee mice and this mouse, which is like relatively on the mid to heavy, or bordering lightweight, around 70 plus to almost 80-gram mice. Yeah, there's really more control compared to like a very light mouse. I actually thought when I was using my lighter mouse, I thought that the this was faster than the Gigantus, but yeah, it's still kind of not, you know. But again, it's worth noting that the weight of the mouse does influence how the pad feels, but it's not a super drastic difference that it becomes suddenly a mud pad or a speed pad. So you just notice it, and I think it's because it's a lot squishier than the Gigantus. The Gigantus is firmer, and this IKEA pad is you know is kind of like softer and squishier. So and if you're the type of people that want to squish on the pad, for additional stopping power, then yeah, I think this is a good pad for you. overall, I mean, for like $10 to $11 or around that price range, it's a really good pad. And yeah, you can pretty much like, I think this is the new best budget pad, I guess. I mean, initially I thought it was going to be my new main, because I really just really enjoyed it. But I'm going back to the Gigantus, not because only personally, because I just prefer kind of like rougher, more, I guess, textured pad. Like, I just really like feeling the feedback. But yeah, overall, this is an amazing pad. And but it was creased, so I'm having it replaced. And yeah, I think it's a good solid option, like if you play like slower paced games, stack FPS, Valorant, CS:GO, Siege, and you don't know where to start, or you're in a budget, or if you want to try the Vaxee PB, uh this is a really good pad to try, and I really recommend it. And again, because of how cheap it is, if you end up not liking it, it's not that bad. I mean, it's almost a surprise. It's kind of like it's almost just a bump more expensive to your like generic big office mouse pads. But this thing is really like the it feels like premium for the price. So yeah, I think it's a pad that you should try. It's only like around $10, and I'm sure you're gonna like it. If you're into control pads. Obviously, if you like speed pads, you're not gonna like it, duh. But yeah, if you're into control pads, and the size isn't really uh turning you off, then go for it. Anyways, again, I'm sorry for the all over the place and scuffed video as usual, but more than usual, actually, sleep deprived and everything. Anyways, that's it for me. If you guys have any questions, just comment down below. So as a summary, uh, it's it's cheap, it's good. I didn't feel it being affected by humidity. It's more affected by the weight of the mouse. It's squishy. The rubber backing is amazing. Um, Even though it's like non-stitched, after like a week or so of usage, there's no spraying yet. But I don't know. I'll make an update video, I guess. And the edges are really nice and comfortable and soft. It doesn't cut your skin. The surface is really smooth, but there are some bumps on it, like that. So this is a good like Vaxee PB tester if you want to get that. Um, this is very similar to the Gigantus V2, only a touch slower, and it's also it's smaller. It's like 44 by 3 by 36 centimeters. I'm not completely sure, and it seems to be 4 millimeters as well. Uh, and yeah, it has a good amount, of dynamic friction, but it's not muddy by any means. It has also a nice balanced static friction. You're not going to be shaky, but it's not going to be difficult to micro adjust. Stopping power is also pretty good and decent. And yeah, overall, it's a nice pad. Again, like, I'm a sucker for cheap products that perform really well. Like, being Filipino and everything, like, it's a Filipino thing to want something to be cheap but good. Yeah. Anyways, that's it for me for this video. Like, comment, sub. That's the IKEA LÅNESPELARE whatever pad. Peace out.